All right, welcome back. It's me again with another video. This video I'm going to try to talk about some emerging trends and then intervention ideas in regards to hip hop and rap for music therapists, and how we can kind of bring various elements of hip hop into session and use it with clients. The emerging trends are kind of scattered all over the place, so I'm just going to talk about a few, but I definitely encourage you to look into those further, because what I'm finding is that there are emerging trends with like how music is being produced, what types of music is being produced, who's coming into the scene, what things they're rapping about. Those are the types of trends that I'm finding, but I'm sure there are many more to touch upon. I also want to note, I'm still learning. Like I've mentioned in my previous videos, I'm getting my bachelor's in music therapy, which means I'm still getting educated, as we know, and I'm still trying to figure out these things, and I'm trying to figure out how they all work within each other and how they can manifest and how I can use that in my future practice. And honestly, I'm just hoping to, again, be a voice that adds to the dialogue about these topics, and hopefully my videos give some sort of insight, or can be, as I've been calling them, a stepping stone. They're not going to get you to a level of complete authenticity. I feel like I say that in every video, but I want to make sure that that's very clear. Yeah, so I'm here learning with y'all. I'm just going to share some things I'm finding. So some trends I've found is we have a rise in like female rappers definitely coming in to the mainstream. So I'm thinking like Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Doja Cat. Those are like some big three names I can think of right off the top of my head. And along with these rappers coming into the scene, we do, a common stereotype is this hypersexualization of artists, from male and female rappers. And so acknowledging that sometimes the lyrics may have sexually explicit content is really important to note, especially if you're going to be bringing various preferred styles of music into sessions with clients. You have to be able to dictate, okay, how do we, use your preferred style of music, but also like what are the bounds and limitations, especially if the site has a limitation in and of itself. Another trend I'm seeing, lo-fi music is really getting big, and it's like this chill vibe type music that people are really being drawn to, especially on YouTube. There's a lot of like playlists for lo-fi music, and it's this production quality that it's like there's definitely like imperfections in it, I guess. People note it as like bedroom musicians. Like, I guess it's like music that you can like make in the comfort of your own bedroom, I suppose, but it's a really chill sort of vibe thing that I'm seeing is coming about. So noting that lo-fi music might also start to be a genre that we see popping up more and more, and noting that like hip hop and rap is starting to become like pop music because it's popular, if that makes sense. It's weird how all these lines get really blurred with what is like considered a genre and such, but noting that metal hop and rap metal are also like things that are coming up. And it's like this subgenre of like rap, rock, and alternative metal music that like combines elements of hip hop with heavy metal. So you have like heavy metal guitar riffs and like funk metal elements, but then rapped vocals and like turntables, which I think is really interesting, because you could definitely, as music therapists, we learn guitar, etc. You could totally like somehow bring that together in a session, which we'll talk about some like intervention ideas. Also trap soul is a thing that's kind of infusing like elements of soul music with like rap and R&B. Conscious hip hop is also coming up again. I know I talked about that in my, briefly touched upon it in my old school, new school, and like the message of hip hop a little bit. But conscious hip hop is like this subgenre that basically is about like challenging the dominant culture. Here that would be like you know, our westernized white American sort of culture, political, philosophical, and like economic, like sorts of issues and conflicts. And basically the music in and of itself is like commentating upon that. I'm seeing that as a thing. Yeah. And I guess another emerging trend that I'll note is like the not the TikTok, but the trend that is TikTok. TikTok is so widespread, and like at this point, everyone is using it. And if you're not, I mean, you're probably on Insta Reels, which is like basically the same thing. And Snapchat has its own little thing. Like the way in which TikTok is, like this For You page idea, it seems as though all apps are starting to kind of get on brand with that, because it's quick and people pick up on that and people follow that. And that is how things become trends. TikTok is definitely like, I'd say, the number one like social media app right now. And if not, it's like definitely top 3, but I would argue it is. That is definitely an emerging trend, I would note. So, I mean, TikTok, there's sides to TikTok, so you can learn a lot from there. And that's a place where a lot of artists really get their music out there too. So just noting that TikTok will probably have, what's the word? Like a influence on the things that various clientele might bring to a session that they're interested in. Because again, it's so quick. Trends change so quick. What's popular this week may not be popular next week, that sort of vibe. So jumping in, I want to talk about like how emerging trends kind of play into like intervention planning, intervention ideas. And I have a couple ideas for how you can like utilize this culture and genre within the profession. Most notably, we do a lot of, I've done, and you can do lyric analysis. And I feel lyric analysis would prove very beneficial when working with this genre of music and with various clientele. Because in lyric analysis, you have the set of lyrics and you can go through it with a client. Now, depending on what lyrics you're bringing about or what the client may even choose to bring, you need to have a level of awareness of where you fit into that mix and what's going to, in essence, you need to know if things are going to trigger you. You need to understand how the lyric analysis is for the client. And everyone kind of interprets lyrics in their own unique individual way. So being able to, in the moment, kind of assess how to go about that lyric analysis, how you want to do that with a client. And that looks different for every music therapist. But I think utilizing lyric analysis with clients would prove very beneficial. I mean, some songs off the top of my head, I think about like Modern, could be like This Is America. That talks about various things that you could really talk about with a client depending on what you're working on with them. Because, I mean, the life of a Black American, you may work with a client who is Black, who does experience, or more than likely experiences, various levels of oppression and stigmatization, all these big words that we always throw around and use. And being able to use elements of music and words, like from songs, to talk about these things in a different way, I think could prove very beneficial for clients. At least I hope so. I mean, we're not going to know until we try it, but I think that would be a great intervention. I also had a professor who talked about the use of like, she was a DJ, and like the use of like turntables and working with adolescents who, I guess I'm going to have to paraphrase. I can't remember it exactly, but basically what you can do is you can use like a little DJ turntable thing, right? So with turntables, you have 2 separate sides, right, that you can control. You can scratch, mix, whatever. And with that, you can have like a conversation happen between 2 people who may not like want to converse or speak with each other, if that makes sense. Like it's a new medium in which to communicate. And I think that would be really cool. So utilizing like a turntable and like you have one person here who gets to control their side and communicate in their way, and then the person on the opposite side can do the same thing. And with that, they're communicating. You're building that cohesion between the two. You're building those communication and social skills, you know, and at the same time, it's fun. Who doesn't like making music, right? That's something I also think about. And then just with intervention ideas, I mean, in an article I read, it just said like learn a definition of hip hop, you know, learn how to DJ or rap or graffiti, whatever. You can use those elements within your session. If you know how to create a beat, you can let clients rap over that, or you can make a beat with your client. You know, the possibilities are really endless. So I really recommend learning how to use like digital audio workstations. And honestly, this guy right here, a MIDI controller, utilize this, because you got notes, you can use sounds on these little pads, whatever you may call it, you know. And I think that these could be really utilized within music therapy practice, because I mean, we learn piano skills, guitar skills, vocal skills, percussion skills. You can bring those elements in, and I mean, shoot, you could record live instruments if you want to. But I think that utilizing these tools that we have at our fingertips, even though they may cost a little money, you know, I think that MIDI I just showed you is like $100. But the benefits that they will have for your clients, and I mean, the rapport you can build with not only them, but help them build, like if you're in a group setting, would just be immense, I would argue. Yeah. So I guess my key takeaways here are that it's hard to know what an emerging trend is and what is trending, because it changes so quick. So noting that female rappers are coming into the mix, knowing like who is trending at what time, because that may change like literally in the span of a couple days. Keeping up to date, you can use TikTok or various apps to keep up to date with things, but note that what you like and like how you view things, the algorithm is going to play into that. So you'd have to be pretty specific if you want to be on a certain, I guess, side to know and keep up. And learning a definition, so important. Learn how to DJ or rap or create beats, or learn how to use art, like graffiti art with music in correlation, like all these various possibilities. Yeah, I recommend a MIDI controller overall. A MIDI and a easy to use DAW. You can use GarageBand, whatever you may have. I think those would prove very beneficial for using within session with clients. So yeah, I think I'm going to stop this video here. I hope that gave some insight and that you learned a little something. Again, I invite you to drop a comment below if you think there's something else that would be really beneficial. Again, I want this to be a dialogue. I don't want this to be me talking at anyone. And yeah, thanks for watching this video as well, and I'll see you in the next one.